Thank you very much. I'm really very pleased also to be there. I went here a few years ago when I was a general director of INSERM, and I have been really very impressed by your accomplishments. What I would like to do in this short presentation, because our chairperson is getting a little bit nervous with the time, is really to take the case of, in fact, of a global company, Merieux Alliance, to discuss how such company can participate in partnerships with Qatar, with other industrial partners, academic partners, and we heard very important presentations this morning in setting up this important objective that you have defined. So, briefly, what is Merieux Alliance? But before, and this has been, I believe, very well referred to in the previous presentation, what you really want to do is to build on excellence-based science. And this has been emphasized, and this means also curiosity-driven science. You want to really have technological transfer, translational medicine, which is a very important word, difficult to achieve, and valorization, economical, medical, social, which means that you have to find mechanisms to really be able to extract through project-driven approach from the basic knowledge. And we all know that this means early phase of innovation, which is key for the process, education, training, centers of excellence, innovation clusters. Yet we have to remain always very humble when we discuss about innovation. And it's really always how to make the miracle happen. I believe that what has been said for the human resources is key. And this is really the main area for partnership, I believe. So Merieux Alliance, this is very briefly, but this is important for me. This is about history. Marcel Merieux was a student and a co-worker of Louis Pasteur. This is about family. I do not have a pointer, but this is, you have Marcel Merieux, Charles Merieux, and now on the right, Alexandre Merieux, who is the president. The reason why I show this kind of slides is that this is really a company where the family is a major shareholder and where you have a long-term vision, which I believe is very important if you really want to discuss on the long term and on a sustainable research. So Merieux Alliance is a holding of 5 companies, BioMerieux, which is an international company more than 39 subsidiaries throughout the world, focused on in vitro diagnostics and also food and water safety. Siliker, which is an international company based in Chicago about food and water safety. And 3 smaller companies, Shanta based in India, Transgene in Strasbourg, Advanced Bioscience Laboratory in Bethesda, all together on vaccines, both preventive and therapeutic vaccines, monoclonal antibodies and recombinant proteins. Now, the focus is on infectious disease, but also cancer, cardiovascular disease and stroke, food and water safety, and keywords are biomarkers, theranostics. And just a word on theranostics. Elias Zeroni has very nicely shown the major issue of personalized medicine. Theranostics is a fashionable word, but a very important one. It's how you associate biomarkers to pharma development. How you can develop biomarkers which will help predict those patients who will respond to a given therapy and those who will not respond. And this is a key issue for the future. And I will not comment this slide, but just to show you that Merieux Alliance on the right has been built in the past years by the acquisition of a number of companies. And it's a global presence, it's a worldwide company, but we have nothing there in your country, and this is why I am here. So Merieux Alliance is about 3 pillars: food and water safety, which is the most important emerging challenge, in vitro diagnostics, immunotherapy. So in this context, and as an example, and really now we go into the partnerships, is that we have set up recently a network of investigators by providing what we call the Mérieux Research Grants, which are generous grants provided to investigators throughout the world, to academic but also industrial partners, on a non-bureaucratic fashion, and this is important, very easy to handle. And with this, we are in the process of getting a real network, a community of investigators that we want, in fact, to use for driving partnerships, for example, in a country like Qatar. Finally, Mérieux Alliance is linked to Fondation Mérieux, which is a not-for-profit organization which contributes to the support to research in developing countries and has a very important network of laboratories throughout the world. So with this in mind, and again, for me, this presentation is taking the case of Mérieux Alliance to discuss in a more general way how we can combine the efforts of industrial partners, such as we heard previously, and academics, with some more global companies in our joint efforts. So the proposal might be to combine three-tier proposal. One, investment opportunities. Mérieux Alliance is creating an investment fund. There are a lot of very important opportunities within the Mérieux Alliance companies with the ideas to have biotech companies which might develop in the Qatar Biotechnology Park. Second, capacity building. We all know that this is the most important challenge, and you have worked and have accomplished a lot of actions. The idea would be to partnership with institutions such as Cornell and also Imperial College. In fact, Mérieux Alliance has an agreement with Imperial College and others, and also other industrial partners to really help building on these research centers. And I will come to this in a minute very briefly. And finally, and we believe this is important, and this is the third axe of this program, we believe that this might be linked to networking activities and also to support to developing countries, which in the future will be a most important, again, challenge. So Mérieux Alliance, but other companies obviously can provide a kind of global offer where one is working with a link between a company and Fondation Mérieux, a not-for-profit organization, academic partnerships, competitivity clusters, and industrial partners to provide a global development and sustainable program. So Molecular Medicine Research Center focused on cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and cancers. And we all discuss about human resources. It's not so easy. We know that it means recruiting high flyers, but it's also building teams, highly qualified engineers and technical staff to diversify career tracks, training, providing time to research for MDs, and also training scientists to medicine. We also know that you have to build on critical mass, small teams, and I don't want to go into detail, but these efforts, which have already started in your country, are key for the futures. So what I mentioned that the first tier of the proposal is really on investment and the investment fund. The second one is on a commitment from a global company to work with you on worldwide search for scientists and technical staff, recruitments, training, definition of the research center strategy, again in partnerships, obviously, with all what has already been built in Qatar. And finally, very briefly again, a link to networking activities. You need to build on a small critical mass to start with, but also an international network. And this network should, in the future, also involve developing countries.